Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Monica. I am a tarot reader and astrologer based in Australia, and today I am doing my Creative Block Tarot spread. So before I get into it, I just want to say this video is in two parts. In the first part, I'm going to discuss the tarot spread itself and the reasons why I decided to ask the questions that I did. And in the second part, I am doing a live practice with the wonderful Sun and Moon Tarot by Vanessa Decord. So creativity to me isn't something that's just reserved for artists. Of course, artists need creativity in large doses for their, creative manifestation to take place and to manifest into the world what their inner vision is. However, I think that creativity is something that all of us need from time to time, and for some of us it is just as important as the air that we breathe and the food that we eat. So I decided to ask 5 questions. I just wanted to get a succinct snapshot of the reasons behind my creative block. And the first 3 questions that I'll put up here, and you can see on the spread that this is fairly colorful for me. I don't often do such vibrant tarot spreads visually because I have Capricorn rising, for any astrologers out there, and I'm more of a fan of clean lines and neatly organized and structured layouts. Not too messy, but we're talking about creativity, and I thought I'd have some fun and try something completely different. I'm not sure if it works or not, but here it is. So the first 3 cards are about the creative block itself. First card, what is the root cause of my creative block? Second card, what do I need to do in order to overcome it? Third card, what do I need to avoid? And the last 2 cards are more about, my own creativity, or your creativity if you wish to do the spread yourself, in general. So the 4th card, what is the root source of my creativity? And the 5th card, how can I best nurture my creativity? So with all that being said, I decided to choose a really sweet little deck. It's been out for a long time, and I feel like these older decks don't get enough recognition out there. Everyone is sort of besotted with the new, as am I. Like, I love how far tarot has come and the quality and originality of so many new tarot decks, but sometimes I really want to choose some of these older ones that are very dear to me, and this is one of them. So I'm going to take a few moments, as I usually do, and focus on my issue, focus on my spread. Ooh. Back to front. Rightio. Okay, let's have a look. Cut. Okay, first card, what is the root source, the root cause of my creative block? Temperance. Okay. Temperance is about moderation and keeping things in balance. We've got the symbol of the yin and the yang, and I think this is saying that perhaps I am too moderate or I attempt to be too balanced in my creative pursuit. For me, creativity, however, is largely in the writing sphere. So it's been over a year since I've written anything publicly, like on my blog post. And a large part of that is because it does take me quite a lot of time to think about and to balance things and to present, a blog post that is thought through. So maybe this is saying that there's a bit too much of that going on, and I should just not weigh things up so much, not be so restrained or moderate in my approach. So that's interesting. Okay. Funnily enough, the name. So in this deck we do have keywords for the cards. It's one of the very few decks where that I allow into my collection with keywords. I really don't like keywords, but in this deck it's okay. It's a cute deck. So we've got art, temperance, and I'm wondering if this is something from the Thoth deck. I'm not entirely sure because I don't work with the Thoth. But anyway, so the root source of my creative block is temperance. Then we've got, what do I need to do in order to overcome it? The devil. Oh, 2 majors. That's quite big, having 2 majors straight away. So the devil is, of course, breaking free from fears, illusions, being too tight, too bound. These are 2 people that are tied to something that holds a fear over them, right? So in order to overcome it, I think it's about perhaps facing my own fears, about speaking my true voice, because I do find that it does get moderated quite a lot. There's a temperance there again. So that's really interesting. That's a very strong card to receive for what I need to do in order to overcome it. Okay. I'm going to get maybe comfortable with the devil a bit. Yeah. But when people get the devil for advice from me, it is certainly about breaking free, breaking the chains, breaking the bondage that something holds over you, and that something is an addiction or a fear usually. So there we go. 3rd card, what do I need to avoid? The 10 of Swords. Oh, doesn't this image say everything? And I think this is what, I love this little deck because it's so clean. It's not over cluttered, and straight away the image is, so easy to interpret. So what I need to avoid, right? Mental anguish, beating myself up over it. Interestingly, because I'm talking about writing for me personally as a creative pursuit, the swords are all about thinking and reasoning, and they cover speaking and writing as well. The Suit of Swords, it's about communication, right? And it's also about communication that is intellectual, deals with reasoning and thinking. So I need to avoid overthinking. Do most women say that? Oh goodness. Yeah, overthinking, absolutely. But also burdening myself with painful thoughts and criticism, self-criticism about my own writing. So yeah, the keyword is ruin here. So yeah, I need to avoid ruining myself mentally. Mental anguish is to be avoided. 4th card, what is the root source of my creativity? The Moon. What an excellent card to receive for this particular question and in this context, because, well, let me just say that a lot of the times when I get the Moon in a lot of mundane day-to-day setting and questions, it's a really difficult card to interpret. All right, it can be quite annoying actually receiving the moon sometimes. But when we talk about creativity, the moon is all about creativity. It's about imagination. It's about fantasy. It's about dreams or dream work, right? So the root source of my creativity has to do with the moon. And I was born on the full moon. I am recording this the day before the full moon, funnily enough. And for me, the moon has always been a source of magic and strength. I've often felt supported by the moon. So, you know, and it's also about, you know, the matrilineal lineage and nurturing as well. But when I talk about the root source of my creativity, it's about working with lunar cycles, with lunar energy, and again, as I mentioned, working with dreams, working with fantasy, illusions, you know. There's also a little bit of the subconscious work, right, with the moon that we have to do. So it's a great card to receive in this context. There we go. And finally, how can I best nurture my creativity? And that's the Seven of Pentacles. Now, this being a Thoth-based deck, and this is why I don't like to work with Thoth amongst many other reasons, but the keyword of failure for the Seven of Pentacles really bothers me. But it is what it is, and I've got to work with this card as it is presented, not with what I think it should be. So how can I best nurture my creativity? So this is someone out, you know, drawing circles in the sand. That's a nice song, isn't it? Circles in the sand. Yeah, it looks to me a bit like a magic rite, almost, you know, someone with a wand making their ritual circle. And they've made quite a few of the circles, and I'm wondering whether that's where the failure comes from, like doing something a bit too much. But I love the color scheme in this card. It's very beautiful and bright and warm, and you know, the warming yellow and the hues of it are just so beautiful. So on the Seven of Pentacles, in terms of best nurturing creativity, you know what, to me this says that it's okay to take a pause. Number 7 is very much about rest and taking breaks. Because even God rested on the 7th day. So who are we to run around in circles every single day, 7 days a week? And I believe I read somewhere, or someone once mentioned that traditionally farmers would let the land lie fallow on the 7th year. I might have to research that, don't quote me on that, but you know, you get the message that number 7 is a card of resting, and but it's a nurturing rest, right? It's something that it's like a replenishing rest. It's not just lying down and doing nothing. It's sort of like that incubation period before you sow your next seeds. Okay, so I take this that I can best nurture my creativity through allowing myself to rest and maybe to even play, even if that play doesn't lead to anything meaningful or successful, right? That's how I'm interpreting this final card there. So, with all of this being said, yeah, I hope that, you know, you've enjoyed this and you find this tarot spread useful for yourself if you wish to practice it. For me, it's certainly been very insightful. Having the Ten of Swords here as what I need to avoid is very clear. I am my harshest critic, no doubt about it, and I shouldn't be. and I'm working on that, okay? I also love seeing the moon. Having the moon as the root source of my creativity is really, really wonderful to see. And finally, I just want to say that in the 5-card spread, I have 3 majors, so the energy here is like fairly important to me, and it lets me know that number 1, creativity is really important in my life, but also number 2, it's not minor issues that I have to address, and certainly with you know, the Temperance card and the Devil there, yeah, we know that's the case. So anyhow, to conclude, as always, I thank you all for watching. I thank you for supporting my channel, and until next time, take care.